I was sitting in the grocery store parking lot the other night, engine off, just staring through the windshield longer than I needed to. It was late. That tired hour where you're not in a rush, but you're also not really resting. A newer car slid into the space next to me. Quiet. Clean. The kind of car that doesn't make a sound when the door closes. And I felt this small shift in my chest. Not jealousy exactly, more like a recalibration. Like something inside me adjusted what normal was supposed to look like. I noticed my own car suddenly felt older than it did 5 minutes ago. Then I caught myself thinking about what I was going to buy inside. I'd come for two things, milk and bread. But sitting there watching that other car, the list quietly grew. Better snacks, something nicer for dinner, nothing wild, just normal. That's how it always starts. Not with wanting more, with wanting to feel aligned. I've been thinking about how fast normal changes when you're around other people. Coworkers talking about where they eat lunch. Friends mentioning what they upgraded. Someone casually saying, "Yeah, we just pay for the premium version now." Nobody's bragging. Nobody's telling you to do anything. But something shifts anyway. I used to tell myself I wasn't influenced by that stuff. I wasn't copying anyone. I wasn't trying to keep up. I just adjusted. A slightly better lunch here. A nicer shirt there. Upgrading a phone a little earlier than planned. It all felt reasonable. It all felt earned. And this is the part I didn't want to look at first. Because once I did, I had to admit, those choices weren't really about comfort or joy. They were reactions. Quiet ones. I wasn't asking if I could afford them. I was asking if they looked normal, and somehow that felt safer. Social media makes this worse in a way that's hard to explain without sounding dramatic. I'll scroll at night, half bored, half numb, and see vacations, kitchens, dinners, upgrades. Not flashy, just smooth. Nobody's showing panic. Nobody's posting overdrafts. So your brain fills in the gaps. You start absorbing a baseline without realizing it. I remember telling myself I wasn't influenced because I wasn't buying luxury stuff. I wasn't buying 5-star hotels or buying watches. But somehow, my grocery trips got more expensive. My weekends started costing more. My baseline crept up. Not because I wanted more, because what I already had started feeling slightly insufficient. That feeling didn't come with a warning label. It just sat there quietly, making everything feel one notch behind. And that's exhausting. Being tired without knowing why. Feeling broke without doing anything obviously wrong. Rent conversations always hit me the hardest. Someone mentions what they're paying, casually like it's weather. Another person adds what they get for that price. Suddenly my place feels smaller, louder, temporary. I remember stretching my own rent because everyone else seemed to be paying around that amount. That's the phrase I used. Around that. I didn't factor in their income, their debt, their help. I just matched the number. It was only $300 more a month. That's how I framed it. But $300 a month is $3,600 a year. Over 5 years, that's $18,000. I never felt like I spent $18,000. I just felt slightly stressed all the time. Sitting on my couch at night, wondering why home didn't feel as relaxing as it should. Cars are comparison machines on wheels. Parking lots feel like quiet scoreboards. Nobody says anything, but you notice. Trim levels, years, cleanliness. I upgraded once because my car felt loud compared to others. That was the justification. Safety, reliability, reward. The payment was only $150 more a month. That number didn't scare me. But $150 a month is $1,800 a year. Over a standard loan, that's thousands more for something I stopped thinking about after a few weeks. The smell faded. The excitement faded. The payment didn't. I remember sitting at a red light, hands on the wheel, realizing the car didn't make me feel ahead. It just made me feel locked in. Food is snakier. Lunch orders, coffee runs, casual dinners. It's social. It's normal. I used to tell myself it was just $12 or 15 or 18. That's nothing, right? Except $15 3 times a week is $45. That's about $200 a month. Over a year, that's more than $2,300. I didn't see it that way at the time. I saw it as convenience, as participation. Cooking at home started to feel like opting out, like being the weird one. And that's uncomfortable, paying extra just to avoid that feeling. The food never tasted as good as the relief of not standing out, and that relief faded fast. Subscriptions were where things really slipped through. Streaming, music, storage, premium versions of things I barely used. It felt harmless because it was automatic, and everyone had them. Conversations assumed them. Did you watch that new thing? You don't have that app yet? I stopped checking what I was paying for. 60 here, 40 there. When I finally added it up, it was about $150 a month. That's $1,800 a year. For stuff I didn't think about, that realization was uncomfortable in a quiet way. Not panic, just this low-grade irritation with myself. Like finding out you've been leaving a window open all winter. Travel comparison hits differently. Vacations turn into benchmarks. It's not about rest anymore. It's about not falling behind. I booked trips because everyone else was going somewhere. I told myself I deserved it. And maybe I did, but I also upgraded flights, hotels, experiences. An extra $1,000 here doesn't sound dramatic when it's spread across a trip, but it lands hard when the statement comes. I remember unpacking one night, tired, surrounded by souvenirs, checking my balance and feeling this strange disconnect. The memories felt fuzzy already. The number didn't. Clothes were another quiet leak. Nothing fancy, just replacing things that weren't broken, upgrading pieces because everyone else looked more put together. A jacket here, shoes there, a couple hundred at a time. Over a year, it was easily $500 more than I needed to spend. Over 5 years, that's $2,500. None of it changed how I felt long term. My closet got fuller. My stress didn't shrink. I'd stand there in the morning, surrounded by options, still feeling slightly behind. Treats multiplied when they became normal. Better coffee, add-ons, premium versions. I wasn't rewarding myself anymore. I was maintaining a standard. $5 here, $7 there. It felt small. But $40 a week is over $2,000 a year. That number didn't feel real until I said it out loud. The treats stopped feeling special. They felt required. Like skipping them meant I was doing something wrong. And that's a strange place to be. Spending money just to feel neutral. Comparison gets heavier when it's shared. In relationships, especially. You hear what other couples are doing, where they're living, how they're spending weekends. Nobody pressures you directly, but decisions shift. Saying yes feels easier than explaining why you're hesitating. I remember agreeing to things because the pause felt awkward, because I didn't want to seem difficult. That discomfort cost money. Quietly, repeatedly. And it never felt like a big decision, just a series of small ones that leaned in the same direction. Timing became expensive too, replacing things early, upgrading before they were done. Everyone else already had it, so waiting felt like lagging. I replaced a phone a year early once, then a laptop, then something else. Spread out, it didn't seem dramatic. Together, it was thousands over a few years. Time itself became a cost, borrowed from the future, and I didn't feel faster or happier, just slightly more rushed. Work comparison was its own trap. Titles, promotions, assumed income. I started spending money I hadn't actually earned yet, acting like future raises were guaranteed, like they already belonged to me. When things didn't move as fast as I expected, the gap showed up on my credit card. That gap felt personal, embarrassing. I didn't connect it to comparison at first. I thought it was just bad timing. It took a while to see the pattern. Self-improvement can get expensive when it's driven by other people. Better gear, better tools, better setups. I bought things because they looked like progress. Courses, equipment, apps. Some of it helped. A lot of it didn't. I liked the idea of improving more than the work itself. And improvement started feeling stressful. Like falling behind again. That wasn't the point. But that's where it landed. The hardest part is that everyone hides the struggle. Nobody posts the panic. Nobody mentions the balance transfer. So comparison thrives on incomplete information. I assumed people were fine because they looked fine. I matched their spending without matching their stress tolerance, their support, their safety net. That realization didn't make me feel smarter. It made me feel naive and a little angry at myself. Debt feels lighter when it's common. Everyone has it. Everyone jokes about it. That normalization took the edge off the warning signs. I told myself it was manageable, temporary, normal. But normal can still be heavy. Carrying it around quietly, pretending it's not there, feeling it every time you open an app. Eventually, the comparison itself got tiring. Keeping up takes energy. And when you're exhausted, spending feels like rest. Ordering in, upgrading, saying yes. Burnout spending is real. I didn't recognize it at the time. I just knew I was tired and money kept leaking faster when I was. There were moments I almost opted out, almost slowed down, almost chose less. But looking different felt risky, like admitting something. I wasn't sure what. So I stayed in the flow, paid the price, told myself I'd figure it out later. That hesitation still sits with me. At some point, I started resenting money itself. Like it was the problem, like it was always running away from me. It took a while to see that money wasn't doing anything on its own. Comparison was steering it, quietly, repeatedly. I'm still unpacking that. Still noticing where it shows up. When I finally added everything up, it wasn't one big mistake. It was dozens of small ones. Extra rent, extra upgrades, extra food, extra subscriptions. Over a lifetime, it was easily tens of thousands of dollars, not spent on anything dramatic. Just spent staying aligned. That number felt heavy, not because of what it bought, but because of what it didn't. Time, options, calm. I sat with that thought longer than I expected to. Didn't really know what to do with it, still don't, honestly.